Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we will be rating your Game Week 10 teams. We'll be looking at positives, negatives and giving them all an overall score ahead of Game Week 10 to hopefully give you a little bit of insight on how to get the best result in the upcoming game weeks. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we've got the first team up on screen here from FPL Shark on Twitter. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look, as I said, positives, negatives, and give it an overall score out of 10 for 5 different teams that you guys have sent in to me. So, let's get started. Firstly, the positives. It's got a strong bench, which I really like. It means that if a couple of players like Zaha, for example, is injured, there are players on the bench who can come in for you. Liverpool defence. Robertson is a good pick for the upcoming fixtures. Again, one that I really like. And penalty takers. We've seen a lot of penalties this season already. So having Zaha, Fernandes, Kane, Watkins all in your team is a really good strategy to have for the upcoming weeks. Now onto the negatives that I see when I look at this team. There is some wasted money. So I know there is a strong bench, but it feels like there's a bit much. For example, Jorginho doesn't add anything, and especially if he's not going to play every single game. There is no Salah, which again worries me for the upcoming games. And double Crystal Palace, even though Mitchell can be benched, is a bit of a worry for me. So that being said, I would give this team an overall score of 8 out of 10. If you don't follow FPL Shark, make sure to go and do so. The next team that you can see up on screen now is from Fantasian PL over on Twitter. So let's get into rating his team. So, if we start off with the positives that I see when I look at this team. Firstly, we've got some strong differentials in this lineup. So, Mane is a nice one. Jota especially, getting on him early I think will be a big pick. As well as Antonio and Cancelo. Getting on these players early I think could be a strong strategy. You've also got a strong bench. Now, unlike the previous team, I feel like this is a well-balanced bench to starting lineup ratio. So we've got Kufal and Lamptey who can easily come in, as well as Riedewald who can sit third on his bench, especially if he doesn't need him every game week. But with Christmas rotation, it's a good option to have. So I like the balance of this team overall. However, if we move into the negatives that I see when I look at this lineup, the double Chelsea defence has been good. However, with the fixture swing that they've got coming up, I'm not sure it's entirely beneficial to have 2 of them in your defence. I really like Chilwell, but Mendy doesn't seem to be returning more than other 4.5 goalkeepers but due to a lack of save points, so I would look elsewhere for Mendy going forward. There are benching headaches with a strong bench, so hopefully we'll make the right decisions with this team of which defenders we should be playing. And Sterling over De Bruyne is not one that I'd particularly like. I prefer De Bruyne as an option for Man City, but this is a small thing on this team. So give it an overall score of 9 out of 10. So let's move on to team number 3 of 5. This has been sent in by FPL Audit over on Twitter. So first of all, the positives. So when I look at this team, the first thing that I really like already is this double Liverpool. However, I do prefer Salah to Mane, but with the upcoming fixtures, having 2 of those options in your teams is definitely a good thing to have. There are strong bargain buys with Masuaku, Justin, Che Adams all in this lineup who offer really good cheap ways so that you can have more funds elsewhere. And the Son Kane double up will have proved very beneficial in previous game weeks, so it's good to see that in this team. However, moving on to the negatives. What stands out to me, first of all, we've still got Jimenez in there, who isn't looking... I know he got an assist in Game Week 9, but there are better options in that forward line. I would look at someone like Antonio coming back from injury or Patrick Bamford of Leeds. The very weak bench, a couple of 4.5 midfielders in there, and Vinagre is not enough to get you through the Christmas period. And with this being said, it means you are very reliant on your key players like Son and Kane. So when they have a tough fixture away at Chelsea, for example, it can mean you're a bit left high and dry in trying to get some points this season. So that being said, I give this one a 7.0 out of 10, but a bit more strength and a bit of shifting around the money onto that and focusing less on those main players will definitely boost this score up. So let's move on to team number 4 that we've got to review. This team's been sent in from Firebrill over on Twitter. It's a bit different from what we've seen before, which is why I've chosen its review for this video. First of all, the positives. A strong midfield 5. Souček is a great fifth midfielder, and then we've got the likes of Fernandes, De Bruyne, Son, Grealish all in there. A great Fernandes, De Bruyne double up. They create their own penalties and they'll score goals. As well as 2 up front, Werner and Calvert-Lewin. It's not Kane, but these two have been returning great points over the past couple of weeks. So there is a lot of strength, especially in that front 7 that he's got in this team. However, when we move on to the negatives, there is a lack of squad depth, and we look at the bench, we've got Strujic, Brewster and Braithwaite in there who aren't guaranteed minutes, as well as on top of that injuries to key players and suspensions like Lamptey, Trent Alexander-Arnold out means that you are very focused on that front 7 returning you points. So I'd look to sell off Trent to maybe someone like Robertson or Cancelo, which would really help the strength and depth, give you a little bit of money in the bank, but just improve that starting lineup as well. So overall, I give team number 4 a 7.5 out of 10. So finally, let's move on to team number 5 that we're going to review today. This comes in from HTFC Sol over on Twitter, and again a few more positives to talk about with this team. Attacking defenders, so it's really good if you saw my video from yesterday to have attacking defenders in your team. So we've got Chilwell, Reece James, Bellerin and Lamptey all in there who can give you attacking returns, which is great to have in your team. That dynamic duo we've seen, Kane and Calvert-Lewin, is a great forward line to have, and that midfield line does have some really nice differentials in. Jota especially is one I really like, as well as Rashford, who is currently in my team. We'll have to see what I'm doing with him though in my game week preview video coming tomorrow. So on to the negatives that I see with this team. Although there are some good differentials, it does feel like it's gone a bit overboard. Bellerin, Jota, as well as some of those players on the bench, and well as Sterling over De Bruyne, it feels like it's a step too far for me. With that being said, there is also a lack of depth that comes with this squad, with only Mitchell and Brewster able to come off the bench when there is a suspension, and they are both not guaranteed to start, with Mitchell losing his place for Crystal Palace. The final one comes with those differentials. It's a lack of captaincy options for me in this team. Sterling I wouldn't trust enough, so it falls mainly to Kane, or you put it on a differential, which I'm not a big fan of this season. So there are some nice differentials, but sometimes the solid high-owned picks are definitely the players that you'd want to be going for. So look into that a bit more. So I give this team a 6.5 out of 10 due to a bit too much differential and a bit too much nitpicking going on in that midfield. So that is all that we had time for in this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you are new and are enjoying these new videos, please hit a subscribe on the channel. We've just hit 1k subscribers, which has been absolutely fantastic. So this video will be out every week, as well as team preview videos and live streams every single week. So if you have enjoyed it, make sure to hit that subscribe and drop a like on the video as well. But with no more to be said, I wish you all good luck in game week 10. If you've got your team, send them to me wherever you'd like. Drop some comments, ask some questions in the comments down below. But that's all we've got time for. Good luck, guys. Subscribe, like, and I'll see you next time.